One of the greatest obstacles to our own happiness is self-deception. We lie to ourselves when we don't want to face a truth about ourselves. And by doing so, we do massive damage to our ability to be happy. If we can't face who we are, then we spend our lives lying to ourselves about who we are. We lie to ourselves to avoid something painful. Our parents made us feel like we weren't good enough, so we lie to ourselves about our own capabilities, about how smart we are or how efficacious we are. We can see this in the guy who boasts outrageously about everything he does. He always has to be the best, and particularly better than anyone else around him. He's the kind of guy who can never admit that he's wrong. He'll argue and argue to the point of absurdity just so that he himself doesn't see that he's wrong. But we can also see this in someone who can never take a compliment, and they can never see how good they are at something or how smart they are. They're always running themselves down or seeing themselves as lesser than they actually are. These two lie to themselves about who they are, whether that's building themselves up to prove to themselves that they're capable or not believing that they're capable, always seeing themselves as lesser than they actually are. Both are distorting the truth because of an evaluation of themselves, because of their sense of self-worth. One tries to overcompensate by seeing themselves as better than everyone else, whereas the other will never see themselves as worthwhile. This is just one example, but anytime someone lies to themselves in this way, it always ties back to how they view themselves. The guy who learns that anger shouldn't be felt. He sees being angry as being mean. So anytime that he feels angry, he represses it. He lies to himself that he's feeling angry, and he doesn't allow himself to show it or recognize that he's feeling the anger. When a girl's behavior drives her boyfriend away, she lies to herself about what caused the breakup, saying, "He just wasn't strong enough to handle me," or even, "There's no men in the world who can handle a real woman." She lies to herself that there might be something wrong with her behavior. A guy who's deeply sad and unfulfilled with the way his life is going makes up for it and hides that feeling by compensating with over-the-top, exaggerated cheeriness. He'll barely ever focus on anything that's sad or depressing or heavy, because he's always got to be light and cheery. These examples are all quite different, but what's in common, what's at the root, is that they're all running from something within themselves. They're trying to avoid the pain of seeing something that damages their sense of themselves, their view of themselves. Whether that's being incapable, or not being good enough, or being mean, or being seen as having done something wrong, or being sad. Whatever it might be, whatever they're running from something that they see as painful. And the reason it's painful is because they see that that thing lessens their self-worth. So if someone sees being right as part of their self-worth, that being wrong makes them bad or lesser, anything in the world that will indicate that they might be wrong will be seen as a threat. If something shows that they might be wrong about something, they'll ignore the facts and lie to themselves. They'll fight. They'll argue, they'll dissolve relationships, they'll completely ignore facts, and shut down their own thoughts and emotions just to not face the fact that they might be wrong about something. We lie to ourselves because we're running from something within ourselves. We're running from the inner pain of recognizing, of discovering that our self-worth is less than what we had thought. This only becomes an issue when you build your sense of self or your worldview on something that's not true, or something that's totally unreasonable, like always being right. You're setting yourself up so that you have to lie to yourself in order to feel good about yourself. You're setting yourself up in opposition to the facts. It's so easy to create these kinds of associations within ourselves, like the idea of being right in our self-worth. But if you can see that lying to yourself can only make things worse, you can begin to let go of the need to have these made-up perceptions of yourself. You can only be happy when you base who you are on the facts. To use myself as an example, at the end of 2018, I had just gotten through a year-long abusive relationship with a narcissist, and I had just lost my brother to suicide. And on top of it all, I was unemployed. My sense of self was turned upside down. But I looked toward what I wanted out of life. I didn't let my fear and my pain and the shame of what had happened to me make me terrified of looking at the facts. At looking at the fact that I let a narcissist into my life. at the fact that I had lost my brother, and at the fact that I was having a horrible time finding a job. I looked at what I wanted my life to be, at who I wanted to be, and that's all that mattered. Our past really only serves as a lesson for us in the present. So from today, I want you to be brave. I want you to never back down from that fear of the pain within you. It's damn hard, but just know that it'll be okay. That fear can only hurt you if you ignore it. And ultimately, all you're doing is running from yourself. You'll never grow and you'll never learn. So embrace the facts. Learn from them and keep growing.